to be making a video that has nothing to do with skincare, but I wanted to kind of address the online class situation that a lot of college students and high school students are going through right now, and any kind of student is going through. And I know that this isn't skincare related, but I wanted to address this because I am a college student, and I thought that why not just talk about what I've been doing to kind of handle the online class movement. I also do not want to undermine the fact that taking an online class is like some hardship that needs to be taught how to do, because people who take online classes use them who are really busy, or maybe it's a cheaper version of college or school system that they can afford to partake in. So I completely respect online classes, completely respect people who take them. The reason why I'm making this video is mainly for those who have been kind of pushed into an online class environment that aren't necessarily sure how to address it and start to organize their life in regards to this sort of class structure. So here we go. I also was going to change into something a bit nicer, but I thought why not keep it how I normally look when in quarantine. So this is the look. So the first thing I want to talk about is scheduling. So scheduling is the first thing that everyone should be doing, whether you are taking an in-person or online class. What you want to do is you want to write down everything that your teachers want you to do. Class by class, whatever online source you use, if it's Google Classroom or some Blackboard or some other separate system that you use to see like what your classes and your teachers want you to do in that class, like a syllabus. If you can look if they updated that syllabus or if they emailed you any new assignments or due dates based on the online class movement, then write those down. What I did, and what might be a little bit overboard, is I took a piece of printer paper, and for each of those printer papers I wrote down the name of my class, new kind of assignments or procedures that are going to be in place. So I took a printer paper for each class and I wrote down the name of the class, new procedures that are going to take place in those classes, like maybe I have to start submitting my assignments through email, so I just write that down at the top, and then I write down new due dates at the top, and then I make a separate list for assignments. So I write down any upcoming assignments within the next 2 weeks. So that's like another little tip underneath scheduling that I recommend, is writing down assignments that you have within the next 2 weeks so that you're prepared ahead of time for the very future assignments, but you also know what's coming up this week too. The next thing I recommend is create a to-do list each day so that you can stay on task, because having a whole day to yourself can create this idea that you can kind of waste time. So the more time you have, the more time you waste. I learned that from a Best Dressed video. So what I also recommend doing is scheduling in when your teachers want you to come online. I have 2 classes that do want me to video chat, so I do put that into my Google Calendar, and I just set a time, a color, and put that in my calendar so I know that I have to get online at that time. I would also input assignment dates. What I like to do is put assignments as reminders so they hit the top of the calendar chart and you can see them, and you have to click mark as done so that you know that you submitted or did that assignment already. And because it's at the top, you won't forget that it's there. So my next point is point number 2, and that is going to be keep a consistent schedule. When it comes to a consistent schedule, I recommend that you wake up around the same time that you would have for your classes. So I mean, unless your classes started really late in the day due to like a job that you may have had on campus at the time, then that might be something else you need to switch around. But for me, my classes mainly started around 11 a.m. So I make sure I wake up around 10:30 and I kind of just, eat breakfast, settle in, and then get ready to go online. But waking up at the same time that your classes normally do creates a sense of like, okay, I'm going back to school. Your brain feels like you're learning again, and keeping that consistency helps to keep you kind of sane and it helps you to learn as well. I also recommend when it comes to keeping consistency that because you're not going to school and classes aren't ending and starting when the teacher says they are, you need to create a block of time, especially for college students. You need to create a block of time that you want to start your work and you want to end school. So you could start your time, at least for me, I could start at 11 a.m. And then I know that, most of my classes are about an hour long. So I give myself about 4 to 5 hours of schoolwork to do. I know that I'm probably going to be taking breaks. I'm probably going to get distracted. So adding like an hour on to that, so like 5 hours of schoolwork, that block is my time to work on schoolwork. The reason why I say that you should at least have a beginning or an end to your classes is because if you don't have an end, you will feel like you have infinite amount of time to do your schoolwork. And the last thing you want to do is to just be doing work all day. So the last thing I'm going to recommend for consistency is creating a calendar with when your classes would have usually been. So for me, my classes are like all mixed up now because they're not necessarily all on the same days. So what you need to do is just maybe make sure that you know what day each of your classes would have been and then study those specific courses on those days. So if my econ class would have been on Mondays and Wednesdays, then I know on Mondays and Wednesdays I should go online and look at the course material, study a little bit, and then call it a day for econ. So the last thing I want to go over, it's a very short one, and it's scanning documents. So I realized that when it comes to scanning documents, a lot of people don't have access to like a scanner. I bet you could easily download an app, but for this one, I'm using my iPhone. And I know a lot of people have iPhones, or at least they have a phone where they can download an app. So hopefully this can address almost everyone who doesn't have a scanner machine at their home. What I recommend is either you take pictures of the documents, or you can go into your Notes app. And what you can do is you go to your notes, you go to the little camera button, and then it says scan documents, and then you could just take the photo of the document and kind of crop it down to the size you want, and it turns into a scanned almost like slideshow. So if you have like 20 pages that you need to scan in for your essay or your homework, it compiles all of it into one document, so you don't have multiple photos that you're submitting, and it's all scanned, all a scanned file. But yeah, I know that it's pretty difficult right now to be transitioning so abruptly to a different system that a lot of us may have never used before, even though we do use like online platforms to submit documents. We've never really done an online class, and maybe our teachers haven't either. So hang in there, bear with it. I hope this video helped a little bit. And if you have any questions about like specific courses that you might not know how to kind of approach when it comes to online classes, just let me know in the comments below. I'll make a video about it, and yeah. Alright, bye.